Hello, this is my final project for C++2. This is the expense book project as specified in the announcement announcing the due date and the final project requirements from March 12th of 2025. I have IOStream, Vector, String, and FStream as my libraries. I'm using namespace std, and I've made a class called calc. This is for calculating and storing information about the year's expense and for keeping track of user input. Up here we have all my private variables. Vector double expenses is a vector of doubles that keeps a track of the expenses for each month. UseIn for the double is a variable used to get user input temporarily if it needs to be stored for a little bit before being used. String months 12 is an array of all the months. It's never changed, so I guess I should have made a constant, but it's no big deal. Double budget is a double that stores the monthly budget that you would like to stay under. Double highest is used for calculating the highest expenses for the year. Highest month is used to store what month the highest expenses was in. And useInt is user input, except instead of a double, it is an int. We have the constructor right here, which gets all of the expenses for the month into the expenses vector double, vector of doubles. And then it also gets a budget for the user as well. We then have a overloaded variant, which does the same thing, except it takes input from the parameters. Budget check uses a for loop to check each month and find out if it went over budget. If it did, it outputs the expenses for the month itself, and how over budget you are, as well as the budget itself. Highest expense finds the highest expense out of the year, and then outputs month with the most expenses was the month with the highest, with the expenses stored in the highest variable right here. Month summary takes a variable from the parameter and outputs the expense total from that month, and it outputs it. Month summary without the parameter allows you to input it yourself, so then you do that. And if your input is over 12 or under 1, it automatically corrects it. Now, let's do this. All right, let's run my program. So as you can see, I already have a preset expense set right here, which I use to create expense book along with the budget of 150. So the expenses, first it runs budget check, which checks every month for if it went over budget, and if it did, it outputs it. Budget check complete. Month with the most expenses was August with $400 of expenses. And now it is asking me a month to view, so let's view January. Expense total in January was $120. Awesome. All right, I believe that's all.